everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm Quarantined, and I'm glad you're joining me today to hear all about 3 more dinosaurs from Ark and my opinion on their value to your tribe. Couple disclaimers again, not all of the outfits on me or my dinosaurs are legitimately obtained, and some of the footage was taken during the Fear Evolved event, and that's why things might look a bit different. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First dino I'm going to cover today is the Iguanodon. At first glance, this thing is big and derpy, and it kind of looks similar to the Parasaur. However, this thing has its own unique uses and abilities, which we'll go over shortly. First of all, comparing this to a Parasaur is a bad idea because these things are a lot more aggressive. If you hit them, they won't just run away like a Parasaur would, they'll attack, so don't say I didn't warn you. The Iguanodon is a mount with an ability similar to the Spino, which I've covered in a previous episode if you want to go and watch it after this, shameless plug. Anyway, just like the Spino, the Iguanodon can switch between bipedal and quadrupedal mode. In bipedal mode, which is when it's on its back legs, the Iguanodon attacks using its front legs and the claws on its thumbs. And it does pretty good damage for an earlier game tame, and it also has a long range for a melee attack. The Iguanodon can run while it's in bipedal mode, but it's not as fast as when it's on all fours. In quadrupedal mode, which is when the Iguanodon is on all fours, is where it really shines. This thing runs fast. It's one of the fastest land mounts in the game. It can cover large gaps of land in a fraction of the time it would take most other mounts. Its great speed means it can run away easily from most predators, not to mention it can jump, so soaring over obstacles is no problem. Perhaps the greatest benefit of quadrupedal mode is the fact that the Iguanodon does not use stamina when it's running on all fours. That's right, you can basically run forever on your Iguanodon. One thing to note is that when attacking in quadrupedal mode, the Iguanodon will automatically switch to bipedal mode to attack with its arms, so you'll have to switch back if you want to start running on all fours again. With all that being said, the Iguanodon's swim speed is nothing to sneeze at either. One of the stranger things about the Iguanodon is its special ability to give you seeds. For this, all you need to do is make sure that it has fruit in its inventory, look at the Iguanodon and hold E, select seed fruit in inventory, and it'll pick all the seeds out of the berries for you. This is useful if you're really into farming. Just a couple more things. The Iguanodon can harvest berries with its standard attack, and it can also harvest wood when it hits trees. But there are better harvesters for both, so you're better off just using the Iguanodon for transportation. So do I think it's worth going through the effort of taming an Iguanodon? I don't really have a straight answer for that. I say it depends on how you play the game. If you tend to stay around your base and not traverse the map, then probably no. If you like traveling around Ark, then yes. If you prefer to run past your enemies, then yes, but if you prefer to face foes head on, then probably not. Ultimately, it's up to you whether you should tame one. I know mine doesn't get the use that it deserves, but I still like having it in my tribe. The next dino I'm going to talk about is none other than the Raptor. What Ark refers to as the Raptor is actually a Utahraptor, one of the largest species of raptor historically to exist, and one of the only ones that would have been big enough for a human to ride on. The term raptor is an informal referral to the Dromaeosauridae, the taxonomical family of feathered sauropods, with various genera and species within it. So there's your little history lesson of the day. Anyway, I love raptors. They're probably my favorite kind of dinosaurs. How they look, how they act, just everything is amazing. At the time of this video, I think I have 17 raptors on this save, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna get more eventually. Raptors are relatively small, a bit taller than the human, but they look pretty fierce, and I'm happy that they come in an awesome tech variant as well. These guys are great. Like I said before, you can ride on them, and you have the ability to use weapons while you're on their backs. The Raptor is a fast runner, one of the faster mounts in Ark, and for a Predator, its stamina usage and regeneration are great. Needless to say, the best use of a Raptor is its combat abilities. They're able to chase down prey and put out incredible DPS, especially in a pack. A Raptor on its own is a tough mount. You can of course attack normally, but the Raptor has the special ability to jump and pin down smaller creatures so that they can't get away. Essentially, you're able to restrain prey so they can't run or attack you, and attack them at the same time, which is pretty overpowered. This also works on humans in PvP, and you can also take them off their mounts. Ark Raptors are incredibly social creatures, and they work best in packs. This is the best realized when you tame 3 or more Raptors and ride on the highest level one. The highest level Raptor will be the alpha of the pack, signified by a yellow-orange glow, and can activate an alpha boost by pressing C on PC. The alpha will call out to the pack, they'll echo, and every one of them will get a significant power-up. I don't have the exact stats, forgive me, but they'll all get a boost in speed, attack speed, and damage resistance for 45 seconds. The minimum amount of Raptors you need is 3, and you'll get more of a buff for every extra Raptor you have, with a cap of 6 Raptors. There's no cooldown on this either, so after the buff wears off, you can just activate it again. As far as any other utility goes, Raptors are pretty good at harvesting meat and prime meat, definitely one of the most efficient harvesters in the early game. So, do I think it's worth the effort of taming a Raptor? I'm sure you could tell that I'm trying not to be biased, but yes. They're not even that hard to tame, just a few headshots from tranq arrows or darts will take them down, and the simple kibble they like is easy to make. In return, you'll get a strong, fast mount with a ton of unique and fun utility. I think that owning a Raptor, or 17, brings a whole other level of enjoyment to the game. Not to mention they're strong. I can't tell you how many times my Raptor pack has saved the day by melting a Rex, or an Alpha Raptor, or Carno in just a couple seconds. If you're not like me and are kind of on the fence about Raptors, I'd say tame a couple anyway. If you tame a mount that you like better later on in the game, your Raptors will still be useful as your guard dogs or base defense. Tame some Raptors, it's worth it, I promise. The last dinosaur I'll cover today is the Brontosaurus. Obviously, this is one of the biggest dinosaurs in the game, and they spawn all over the map on the island, but it's definitely not something you'll want to mess with when you're lower level. The Bronto is a mid to late game dino that definitely has its uses. It's a humongous mount that not a lot of enemies can contend against. This dinosaur has a huge health pool and they can tank damage from most enemies. There is a disadvantage in that you can't shoot off the Bronto's back with a weapon, but we'll talk about a quick fix to that later. The Bronto has just one attack, its tail whip. This attack is not to be underestimated. It does a lot of damage to enemies and knocks them back very far. To put it in perspective, the Bronto has the same base damage as a Rex, it just doesn't necessarily have the DPS. This attack also has very good AoE. You can even get yourself out of trouble by knocking foes off of cliffs or into the water and so on. The Bronto moves slowly, which is definitely a downside. A lot of it though is because the Bronto is so big that it looks like it's moving slower than it actually is. It's actually about twice as fast as a Stego, which we took a look at last episode. One of the biggest perks of the Bronto is its ability to wear a platform saddle. If you don't know what a platform saddle is, it's a block that goes on the Bronto's back that you can build anything on, from storage boxes to turrets to cannons. This is useful for so many things. You can use your Bronto as a mobile base, or as a walking war machine, or as anything you want it to be. This is where I tie in my point from earlier. You can't use a weapon while riding in the regular Bronto saddle, but you can while you're standing on the Bronto platform saddle. Another perk of the Bronto is its harvesting ability. It's the best harvester in the game for berries and thatch by using its tail whip on bushes and trees respectively. They also have enormous carry weight capacity, so you'll be able to transport a ton of goods with them. Do I think it's worth it to go through the effort of taming a Bronto? Yes. They're relatively easy to tame since they're so easy to spot in the wild and slow enough to kite while shooting them with trank arrows. Their harvesting abilities are reason enough to tame one, as you can get berries for days with just one tail whip. They're also great tanks, great battlers, and can be basically anything you want them to be with the platform saddle equipped. Go on and tame this gentle giant. I'm sure it'll be a good addition to your tribe. Thank you for watching my video. If you have a Bronto or plan to tame a Bronto, let me know in the comments what role it serves within your tribe. As always, if these videos are something you'd like to see more of, let me know what creature you'd like to see me cover next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.